Hello guys, it's your boy Luke. I'm back. Forgive me for the hair and such, and for drinking this periodically. I just worked out. Today we're gonna talk about evolutionary psychology. Okay, what does that mean? The APA defines evolutionary psychology on April 19th of 2018. An approach to psychological inquiry that views human cognition and behavior in a broadly Darwinian context of adaptation to evolving physical and social environments and new intellectual challenges. It differs from sociobiology mainly on its emphasis on the effects of natural selection on information processing and the structure of the human mind. So, why are you talking about this, Luke? What does this have to do with anything? Guys, first, no one knows anything about psychology at all. Even psychology majors that I talk to. In my college, I'm a journalism major. They're a psychology major. I'm like, yo, what do you like about psychology? I like to hear how the human brain works. What part? I don't know. I'm like, huh? What do you mean, bro? This is your major. Personally, I actually know a lot about psychology, so I can talk. Um, Pretty much, guys, there's 8 perspectives in psychology. You can learn this in a gen ed high school psychology class. One of them is evolutionary psychology. So, what does this entail? To a liberal atheist, it means it's the way that the human brain has evolved. And so when you ask them, like, why certain people feel better in different roles, that's what they'd say, right? Like, I was debating this with my brother and my family in the hot tub one day. Guys, why are women better at raising children than men? And they said, well, it's like the role that they've been given for blah, blah, blah years. I'm like, okay, whatever. Anyways, so, what does this have to do with anything? Well, I think that the denial of the role of evolutionary psychology in people's day-to-day lives and their understanding of what would make them happier is massive. Everyone denies it. No one really understands what it means, what that has to do with anything in their lives. So listen, right? There's a reason why when a woman is secure in a relationship, she starts to get fat. Why a male who is fat is going to be more complacent with his life. Has to do with why, even though you're doing good in all your aspects of life, if you don't go exercise, you're going to feel bad. All this stuff. It's the configuring of your brain, the things that are going to make you feel certain ways, right? The things that make you feel good, that have not a lot of reason behind that, right? Like, you might feel good that you get an A on a test, and there's a reason for that. Like, you can attribute it, okay, I put in the work, I did good job, I'm smarter than these other people, whatever. But certain things, it's a bit harder to explain, and it just comes down to evolutionary psychology. I don't believe in that personally. I think that God wired our brains a certain way. That's all I gotta say, guys. But anyways, let's get into it. So what do I mean living according to your biology, right? So pretty much as a man, there are certain things that I personally cannot override with just thinking. For example, comparison. I remember being in 5th grade health, and they're talking about we're about to go into puberty, and what does that entail? Okay, you get more testosterone. Okay, what does that entail? One of the aspects is comparison. I look at some guy that's bigger than me in the gym, and I'm like, look at him, look at me, he's bigger than me. Okay? There's nothing you could do to feel good about that. I mean, besides, like, tell yourself, okay, well, I'm better at this thing, whatever. But I can't override that by thinking. I can't think, well, I'm actually better because blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work like that, bro. But I think that this mostly has to do with your most base desires, right? Because, I mean, for years we didn't live within such an organized society, so it's not like our brains are that adapted to this whole thing, right? So, like, for example, you could be an extremely successful businessman, but your job requires you to be inside 6 days a week. And despite your success in the workplace, everyone loves you, you have a good family at home who's well supported, you still feel bad. Why is this? Your body associates being successful as going outside and killing animals and gathering food and beating other tribes, right? And you're being successful in the modern day's definition, not in the past, right? Um, and like women's evolutionary psychology is like find a man who can um, have stability for my family, right? So like before it'd be like I need a man who has food. I need a man who can go out and gather supplies, build us a home, all this stuff, and who's fit, able to beat these other people, protect me, all this stuff. Anyways, so how do you go against your evolutionary psychology? Well, the first thing, I've already pretty much mentioned this, but work. The work today, you're barely going outside and doing some sort of conquest. It's extremely rare that that's someone's job. So naturally, everyone has a cognitive dissonance with this. Oh, and quick side note. Cognitive dissonance means you want things to be one way, and then you think about it in reality, and it's not. That's what cognitive dissonance is. Psychology says this is the root of all negative emotion, right? Man, my dad's dead. I wish I had a dad. Do I have a dad? No, he's dead. Sad, right? That's how it works. So, pretty much, this is why all this stuff matters so much. Even though you don't consciously think, I want to be fit, have women, have food, have a stable source of life and good shelter and such, you might not actually think that, but it's wired into your brain, right? That this stuff matters. Like, you might not need to be physically fit for your life, but your body is going to be like, we're not physically fit, and you're going to feel kind of bad about it. And this isn't stuff that you're consciously thinking, right? It has a lot to do with Sigmund Freud's idea of the id. This kind of wiring that's just in your brain naturally. So that's one big way. I think another big way is for women to be having sex with multiple men, and to not fulfill the role that they did fulfill for so long, If you're going out and you're fucking a different guy every few days, you're gonna be like having a dissonance that you're not conscious of. Because your body thinks, one man, he gets me pregnant, that's all, But you tell yourself, it's fine, go give in to desires, be a whore. And you're gonna feel bad. Even if you don't actually understand what's going on, you feel negatively. It's the same thing with this too. I remember my ex told me this. She goes, I think like women don't know the actual signs of high test, but they just seek it out. Like they're just attracted to it. That's evolutionary psychology. There's nothing like, okay, I guess pheromones could have to do with that, but it's mostly evolutionary psychology. You know what I'm saying? She wants a man who could build the muscle, do the high testosterone activities, without knowing that. She doesn't even know what it means to have high testosterone, right? Bro, I hate talking about testosterone and stuff. I feel like I sound like Andrew Tate or some pussy. Anyways, what else has to do with this? Well, going outside, working, sexual things. Oh yeah, that's another part of it too. If you're not having sex, you're gonna feel kind of negatively about it. Unconsciously. You know what I'm saying? Like, your body's just gonna crave these things, and you're just like, why do I feel bad? I don't need to have sex consciously, right? But your subconscious mind is like, we should do this, we need to reproduce, right? That sort of thing. I was thinking about this too. In the modern day, your physique isn't gonna be the thing that gets you success. It's gonna be your mental, right? I mean, like, for the most part, because you could be broke and have the physique, and then you go work construction and you do good in construction, sure. But if you're broke and you have the mental capacity, the drive, the discipline to go break out of this, find some escape for yourself, that's good. But like, no woman really recognizes that. You know what I'm saying? And I was talking to my girlfriend about this. This is a weird thing to me. Like, your mental doesn't even matter. Like, even though I've been depressed before and bad genetic problems with my mental, she's like still wanting fucking me and my children. It's like, huh? What other points of evolutionary psychology? Oh, the desire for conquest. This is a weird one. I was talking to my friend about this. Most men in the modern day channel their desire for conquest into one of two things, or both. Women, 3. Women, sport, and gaming. These are like the main things. You know, when you're gaming and you think, I need to be the best gamer at League of Legends, that's like your desire for conquest, but you're not properly channeling it. And so, like, you can feel good about a good win, whatever, but your subconscious is gonna be like, bro, nothing's happening after some time, and realize. Same with women. Like, I have friends that be spending all their time with bitches and not with them physically, like texting them, thinking about them, lining up everything so that they could be fucking once a week or some shit, you know? And it's like, you're taking your primal urge of conquest, conquering, being better, and you're channeling it into nothingness. It just dissipates. Same with sport. I was watching the Super Bowl yesterday, and I'm like, this is like the Coliseum, but they just watered it down and made it like a pussy thing. Like, oh, get the ref out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are fulfilled when they have these root desires within them fulfilled. Back to my point about fat people. Oh wait, quick side note about the Colosseum thing. Great quote. During the Roman Empire, when the people would grow to be concerned about things going on politically, they'd start to realize patterns. What did they do? They said, hey guys, watch these guys fight and forget about all the bad stuff we do. So if you could throw one of those once every month maybe, and the people would kind of forget about the bad stuff going on, what is having a phone doing to you? What is like, TikTok, what is that going to do to you? Bad things, very bad things. Same with even just the TV. You can sit there and watch TV and you're just distracted about life. You know what I'm saying? Everything's a crutch. It's true. I just think that to properly understand the world, you need to reference history. Because what is the law based on? History. How do you know when you go drive that you're not gonna just suddenly get fucking bodied by some guy on the opposite side of the road? Well, you reference it to the other times that you drove, right? But how does it work when you get to big social trends? You know? How does it get when you get into societal issues? Because you can't really reference your own lifetime with that. These are long, very long-term things. You have to look into history. It's the only way to really understand the world. But anyways, guys, that's like the majority of my points. Don't say that you're depressed if you haven't looked into everything. And how could you be depressed or anxious and complain about it when you don't do everything you could? You don't seek God, yet you just complain. Like, I actually wrote that in my journal a while ago. I'm not allowed to complain about being depressed till I find God. You know what I'm saying? If you've done everything and you're depressed, then that's different, sure. But if you haven't tried everything, don't be fucking hopeless, bro. Like, you retard. You haven't even tried all this. How do you know it's not gonna work? The other stuff didn't work. Well, are the other stuff the same as this thing? No. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, but the other part of this too, back to the woman thing, is like if you're a 30-year-old single woman who bought into the whole liberalism, girl boss, how do you think you're gonna feel? I mean, 50% of women over, man, what age is it? I think 25 are gonna be on antidepressants by 2025. It's a statistic. Um, and it wasn't like this before, you know? Like, I truly think that as a man, you're happiest when you live in your most masculine state. When I'm working the most, I have the least time to chill. I'm not spending a bunch of time socializing or doing stupid shit. My life is just work, God, um, like do something for like an hour before I go to bed, wake up, rinse and repeat, difficult. When I live that life, I feel the best I ever feel when I be working like 35 hours a week and life is just grind. Well, that's with school, guys, so don't hate, like come on now, not just 35 hours a week. And a woman, when do you think that women are the happiest? Because personally, I think it's when they fulfill their roles the most. As a woman, they're the most feminine. Raising a family, they don't work. They just chill out, cook food, don't worry about stuff too much. Call me crazy, but that's the way that things were for thousands of years. And what happens now that we fuck up all the biology stuff, all the evolutionary psychology, we say, throw it out the door, it doesn't matter. Highest suicide rates, highest depression rates, worst social issues ever seen. Am I crazy for saying this, bro? Like, I don't know, guys. I'm not saying that women can't do stuff, right? I think that genuinely we need some of these women to be in the workforce, because if it's just men, there's no compassion. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need the Harriet Tubmans and, man, what's the woman who made the halfway house in Chicago? I don't know. But women bring the good social change some of the time, and we really need that, because just men will just be like, fuck it, just kill him, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like we need some compassion, but this is way too large of a scale, and we see the worst issues with them being depressed ever. And it's like, this is another part of it. I was talking with a gay guy the other day, and he's talking about how he hates being gay. I was like, that makes sense. He's like, dude, I understand that this isn't a normal thing, and I just feel so bad about it all the time. And I'm like, and you look into the statistics, gay men have 2.5 more times depression and anxiety and suicidality, right? Trans people try and kill themselves 50% of the time. Oh, that's a good point with subconscious cognitive dissonance. When you're trans, right, and you're telling yourself, like, if I'm like, I'm a woman, you can, like, psych yourself into this stuff for periods of time, but at some point or another, the subconscious, no you're fucking not, slowly becomes more and more prominent. And like I said, cognitive dissonance is the root of negative emotion in psychology, which I don't fully agree with. So it's like, trying to kill yourself is one of the biggest negative emotions ever, right? I think that's one of the biggest emotional things that could occur. So I just think it's a good example of cognitive dissonance and how that stuff works exactly. That's all. I hope someone actually listens to the full video. Jesus is king. It's never too late, guys. It ain't never too late to fix yourself. You know? Like, you always got chances. Nothing's over. I could be 60 and it's not over. You know? all I gotta say, guys. God bless. God bless.